right. Welcome to 6G Agenda. How we all doing this morning? Sorry I'm a little tardy. I'll let everybody kind of roll in here. Got a little over ambitious. Thought I could make it by 8. Need to grab myself some coffee and get prepared here. So I need a few minutes. Inside your bones, I got your tag. That was a cool connection you got there. Inside your bones, I want to say that it's so funny. I mentioned the Gene Hackman's wife situation in regard to the hantavirus on X, and oh my god, I'm blanking on his name, from Australia. Alex Saunders. He was like, "Oh, great find," and then I saw that he mentioned the Gene Hackman, and how that's kind of funny that is the man's wife that died from hantavirus, almost to indicate the hacking of man. Just how they like to play with names. And yeah, Nugget News, he was like, great find on the Gene Hackman thing. So I didn't get the hacking man connection right away. So I appreciate him, and I'll take a little slight credit for reminding him of Gene Hackman's wife. But no, that's very crazy that, once you put that together, Gene Hacking Man, he happens to die, with his wife, who dies of hantavirus earlier this year, who, by the way, was in a movie called Hunting Party or something like that. It was about people who like to hunt humans, human hunting, the Great Hunt and all that, right? We've talked about that on this show, part of the Jesper series, where we talked about the Chateau d'Amoir. And the Chateau d'Amoir was, I believe, connected to the Dutroux case. And they were doing allegedly human hunting at that chateau, which is a castle. And that castle was owned by the Queen, and it was sold to a family that actually owns the fluoride mining. And yeah, so they have this current chateau now, and they won't comment on any of the theories about this place. It's Mothers of Darkness, it's called, castle. They won't comment on it. So who knows, man? It's crazy. So yeah, I think there's definitely something connected to that. But absolutely. So, yeah, here we are. Gene Hackman, yeah, that movie. Let me hold on. Try to remember what movie that was, just so we could look at it. Let's see here. But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff to go over here with the hantavirus, with the ticks. It is a lot to get into. But yeah, so it was called The Hunting Party, made in 1971. Gene Hackman was in that. People like to connect that, of course, to, the Elite, Zorro Ranch, where they could have been obviously doing a lot of the stuff that they want to bring in through this New World Order system that's going to be possibly brought in through this disease, this war, a cyber attack, famine, plagues, right? They're trying to, I believe, materialize the optics of Revelation. If you guys remember in the manufacturing of food and water crisis episode I did just the other day, if you haven't seen it yet, that'll be coming out this week on the free feed. Definitely be on the lookout for that. But this episode on the free feed will come out after, so you guys probably already saw that if you're on the free feed. So anyway, my point is, in the food and water shortage, I was kind of explaining that Revelation, this whole idea of like the end times, they seem to really be pushing for the optics of that. And of course, along with that, you would have to do the plague, people dying off, and food, famine, all these things. So speaking of that, I've got some stuff to get into maybe later about the last oil tanker. Maybe I'll just go over it real quick right now, because I think it's so important that I might start literally lead the show with it, because I don't want to, maybe it's something to worry about. So California had its last barrel dock on I believe it was May 3rd. And one second here. Let's look at this. As we get started here, let's check this out. So California got its last barrel of oil from the Middle East in Long Beach 5 days ago. Now, what that means is that there's not going to be any more oil coming in, at least for a while, because these are the oil tankers that were already out in the ocean when this conflict started in Iran, before the strait closed. So they've been able to artificially lower the oil prices. And now they're not going to be able to do that anymore. Here's the thing, though. There's a chance. I'm not saying that any of this is 100% going to happen, but there's a strong chance that we will go from artificially low oil and gas prices to no oil and gas. Now, the reason why I say that, Spirit Airlines closed, right? They'd closed because because of gas prices, right? Because of rising fuel costs. Here's the thing. How much jet fuel exports have risen in the last few months? I know this kind of gets in the weeds here, but it's very important. We've been exporting 82% more jet fuel. Okay? The jet fuel Americas in America. It started showing me somebody else's country. So I saw a statistic. I'm not going to be able to find it right here. Our export of jet fuel has risen by 82%. If that's true, we also have Spirit Airlines simultaneously closing, which is an American airline, I believe. So you put those things together here. It definitely is an American airline. So you put those things together here. And my point is, there's a possibility that they're artificially acting like, everything's kind of okay. But if we don't get the strait open and get things kind of coming back, I think that everywhere is going to feel it. Now, why is America, pardon me, why is America sending out more jet fuel if they know that we're heading into this kind of crisis? To me, it seems like that would be intentional, as we talk about in this show. They tend to do crazy shit to dismantle our country, it seems, especially Trump, right? So let me get down to this statistic here. So maybe I can point that out. Hold on one second, see if I can find it for you. So here we go. Yeah. All right. So yeah, opening the strait is, probably not going to save it right away because they have a lot to catch up and recuperate on. So again, like this is something that we need to kind of maybe be smart, get yourself some water, get yourself canned food, just the classic shit, like if you're in America, especially, I mean, anywhere really, but Australia, America, I know that those are two places that more than likely would be hit kind of a little harder, but just saying. So these are things that I've been kind of noticing. Really has nothing to do with the hantavirus, but I wonder if this hantavirus situation isn't even a big deal. I wonder if this turns into a nothing burger, but in the meantime, all these distractions are serving purposes because they're projecting by July 4th, we're going to be like pretty much running out of everything, the reserves and shit with oil. So I'm just saying, like, we're hitting this, what they call a tank bottom. And a tank bottom is something that's going to be thrown around a lot more if I'm right. And you're going to hear a lot more about something called the tank bottom. Maybe I should show that again, project my screen again, so I could show you this article about that. Tank bottom. Who was the guy that said this? It was, here he is. He's saying, so this guy here, he's an economist. Let's check him out. He's saying we'll run out by July 4th. So this is where I'm getting some of this information from, so you guys can check it out. And maybe this guy's full of shit. So let's find out, right? If we want sound, I'm going to have to reproject this. Reproject this here. So not trying to fearmonger, but I'm just saying there's another aspect to these things going on that nobody's really talking about, and it's the oil situation that, of course, everybody always talks about oil, so it's kind of a played out thing, but I think it's kind of actually not played out, and we should probably talk about this too, adjacent to everything else. But yeah, 4th of July, isn't that a funny day to choose to say we'll run out? All right, so let's check this out.
When do storage tanks run empty?
Your parts of the world, like Australia, Philippines, Thailand, you are. But the question is when and where. I still say that with you, it's going to be, sometime in the month of May that you're going to end up with Europe hitting tank bottoms, and in the U.S., it's somewhere in that July 4th time period, if not sooner. By the way, the inventories number coming out of the U.S., the ones we got last night, the ones last week, I've never seen anything like that before. And I think that it's important to remember that these inventory numbers, let's define terms, a deficit versus a shortage. We have a deficit today, meaning that demand is above supply and we're drawing inventories. It's not a shortage yet. So to answer your question, you have the shortages in places like, Asia, and it's not that bad yet because you're not completely at tank bottoms. But in places like Europe and the United States, you're in a deficit and you don't hit the shortages until you hit tank bottoms.
When do storage
So that's what I was saying. You're going to hear a lot more about tank bottoms if that guy's not full of shit. And to be honest, what he's saying does make sense. And if it is true that we've been exporting more jet fuel than we have, 82% more, then that's an issue. And I believe it's 100% true that we've been exporting more LNGs because of Europe obviously running out of that. So, yeah, definitely things to think about. Because I'm pretty sure when this war started, Trump said that our gas is our oil is for sale. I'm almost positive he said that. So, exactly. This is kind of what I'm trying to point out here. He's like, let's start this war, and I'll sell all the oil we have, knowing that we're going to run out eventually. Very nefarious. So, okay, I think we're going to start off. Pardon me. I think we're going to start off with. Let me see if I can find this. I've got so many links and so many things to go over with both the ticks and the hantavirus situation. So, one really important thing I think we should start off with is, of course, oh no, don't look. Don't look. I'm just kidding. Here, hold on here. Boom. Okay. So one thing, this guy here, oh wait, no, here, I don't even got to pull this up. I could just pull this up. Polaris WHO. Okay. So do you guys remember before COVID, they had simulation right before COVID, right? Well, there was an exercise done on April 23rd to April 22nd, vice versa, in 2026. So this is just a couple weeks ago. 2-day high-level simulation conducted by the World Health Organization. It was to test global readiness for major health emergencies, including pandemics. So this was a fictional new bacterium, across the globe, 26 countries, 600 health emergencies, and over 25 international partners, Red Cross, etc., UNICEF. And so it was part of the WHO's Horizon X multi-year simulation program designed to operationalize emergency frameworks under real-life conditions. So, as before, we know that, these simulations sometimes line up in a weird way and sometimes they don't. But this particular one kind of did. I believe that they used I want to say that there was a cruise ship involved in this too. Simulation. Let's see here. Let's search the page. Let's look for ship. Let's see if there's anything about a ship in here. Nope. So maybe they didn't. Or maybe they're not getting into detail here. So yeah, the simulation explores AI-enabled tools to support workforce organization and planning. So this time they're, obviously putting in AI to try to work with that instead of before. Now that's kind of wild. So yeah, that is something that happened. As always, it's just kind of rhymes with every other time that we have situations like this. So that's interesting. All right, so let's look over here. I'm going to look for the tick situation here. We're going to talk about ticks. So let me go to the bottom. Start at the bottom and work our way up, okay? So a year ago, now this was odd to me. I say this so on May 9th, okay? This exactly, well, look at that, guys. Today is May 9th. That is crazy, isn't it? So let me pull this up. Today is May 9th, okay? A year ago, Tucker Carlson had an episode about Lyme disease. Government bioweapons. Labs started injecting ticks with exotic diseases. Soon people nearby began to get those diseases. Now tick-borne Lyme disease is endemic. Naturally, the government has admitted to nothing. So this is a clip from an episode from 1 year ago today about Lyme disease and being weaponized. And I think that's interesting whenever we're talking about alpha-gal and the ticks today that are being dropped out of the sky, guys. I mean, this is crazy. And I'll show you video evidence to at least show that, you know, these ticks are not in a natural amount as far as like quantity goes. It's not natural.
The CDC estimates there are 500,000 cases a year. That's on average 1,300 people a day.
Where do we think this came from?
Lyme disease wasn't a problem till the peak of the biological weapons program in the U.S., the mid-70s. These three freaky diseases showed up. Lyme arthritis, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and then there was a parasite called Babesia.
So you have a cluster of these previously rare diseases right across from the U.S. government's biological weapons testing facility. Is that what you're saying?
This is the perfect stealth weapon. It's poor man's nuke.
It's hard to digest all of this. It's just so evil.
We can't.
Poor man's nuke. So is alpha-gal, I would argue. So this guy here talks about, we'll look at this in a minute, but this man in the video, he's from the WEF. He's a bioethicist. He's named Matthew Lau, and in 2016, he talked about making humans allergic to meat through human engineering so they wouldn't eat as much. You'll eat less meat and you'll be happy. Who else do you think they'd do it? How else do you think they'd do it? So check this out. This kind of backs up. Now, I think this is
so one is that
it's a good thing to play right after what we just showed with the Lyme disease being weaponized. And of course, we'll show evidence that Bill Gates actually had some funding in the alpha-gal situation. And we know that he obviously has a lab-grown meat company. And also, he makes like yogurt out of mushrooms, and you know, he wants to make burgers out of mushrooms and shit. If you go watch videos, look up Bill Gates food like replacements or mushroom made food, and you'll see all kinds of things he's saying we can use mycelium to make. So just eating mushrooms or bugs.
people eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, you know, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, you know, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you.
Dude, they're like, come on, let's use it. 10 years later, here we are. Holy shit, dude. Bowling Green, is that in Missouri? It says Kentucky and impacting a wildlife rehab in Bowling Green. I'm pretty sure they're talking about two different places. Bowling Green's in Missouri. Tick-borne meat. Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure that Missouri is like a main hub for these things too. Tick-borne disease, impacting wildlife rehab. Yeah, this I think is talking about Bowling Green, Missouri. So very close to me. Very close to me, if that is the case. Kentucky, I'm pretty sure. Maybe they have a Bowling Green in Kentucky too. So, because everything I'm seeing here is about Kentucky. But there has been, you know, I mean, there's a huge map. So we could pull up the alpha-gal map just so I could show you kind of where it's highlighting the areas are very heavy at. It seems to be spreading from east to west. And as I said, Missouri is a very heavy area. If you don't know, Missouri's right here. Can't even see it because there's so much shit there. So Kentucky, of course, is over to the right over here. You can't even see that either. And Illinois is kind of mostly covered. It's a little bit up here. And then, of course, Oklahoma is half covered. And I mean, Alabama's gone as well. So, and Mississippi, I think a little bit as well. So, yeah. And then also all over the East Coast, which is kind of surprising, but they do have a lot of woodlands there coming from New Jersey, kind of creeping up through New York. So I guess that's a natural, migration that you would find. But yeah, man. So one thing with alpha-gal that I was researching, you can't cook it. Cooking to, let's say, disable. To disable. I don't think that'll work. That's not probably how to disable alpha-gal. Safe cooking practices for alpha-gal syndrome. You can't disable cooking in the literal sense, but you can avoid trigger foods. So I shouldn't have said it like that. Deactivate alpha-gal. And it should pull up that like you can't do that. So alpha-gal syndrome is an allergic reaction. It's to a sugar molecule, which is called alpha-gal, that is found in meat of mammals, including beef, pork, lamb, venison, goat, rabbit, deer. I mean, pretty much most mammalian animals you're going to be rendered allergic to. Cooking does not deactivate alpha-gal. I'll repeat that. Cooking does not deactivate alpha-gal. You cannot cook this out. The molecule is not destroyed by heat. So eating mammalian meat or dairy products will still trigger a reaction, they say, in sensitive individuals. The only way to prevent a reaction is to avoid these foods entirely. Now, check this out. Can you get alpha-gal from, let's say a deer that was bitten, right? I've already looked up all this and figured all this out, but it's interesting whenever you start looking at this. I love how, and it took me a long time to get the answer too, because they don't tend to just give it to you in this little AI overview here. The most common way is through a tick bite, which can transfer into the bloodstream. However, research has shown linked bites from black-legged ticks, which feed on deer. So if a tick bites you and transmits alpha-gal in your immune system, you may become sensitized. Deer bites themselves do not directly. The bite must be from a tick that carries the. Okay, you see what I'm saying here? It's like AI is retarded, dude. Honestly, it's so retarded. It's like, dude, I'm asking you, if an animal has alpha-gal, will I get alpha-gal? It's pretty simple, and like they just can't answer. Honestly, but you can, guys. What I'm saying is, if a deer has alpha-gal, it can transmit to you. So, like, can you get alpha-gal from infected meat? Maybe that'll work. It's like pulling teeth. It's caused by tick bites, not meat from animals that contain alpha-gal. Well, that's good. I got a different answer the other day, but that's great. So anyway, very interesting. So I guess you have to be bitten by a tick. So that's good. So here's one thing that we can look at. There's a therapy, if you do get alpha-gal, that allegedly can reverse it. This is it's SAAT. It's also known as Solomon auricular allergy treatment. So it uses acupuncture in the ear, a single needle placed for 3 to 4 weeks to help the immune system reset. 126 patients have been treated with this. 121, 96% reported symptom remission. Very, very promising. More studies are needed, but this is a compelling data point, obviously. So keep that in mind. There are options that we have. They don't totally got us, right? So yeah, pretty wild. I hope you guys are enjoying. We got so much more to go through. Shout out the whole chat. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the early birds that waited. You guys are awesome. So now let's look at the ticks that are showing up in numbers that are unnatural all over the woods in America, I'm calling it.
And I'm sorry if you're a sensitive person, but this needs to be talked about. You guys need to share this video. This is obviously a dead moose somewhere in Canada, I believe, and it is just covered in thousands of ticks. This is the reason why it has died, because ticks will suck the blood, and when there's that many, There you go. Crazy. Now, I'm no expert, but I grew up in Canada, and I used to be out in the forest. I literally had a forest out back. I used to be in the forest all.
Look at that, dude. Look at that. That is a solid just line of ticks. I mean, literally 6 inches wide, about 6 inches in diameter. I mean, that's about a 6-inch in diameter circumference there of just ticks, just completely just eating on them. So let's move on to a little bit more here. So let's see here. In 2010, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gave grants to Oxitec, a biotech company that does research on genetically modifying ticks, okay? All of a sudden, the tick population exploded from a few dozen known cases in 2009 to hundreds of thousands today. And we're talking about the alpha-gal. If you look, it has exploded. It is possible because of the lab-grown meat company he has, allegedly. Well, he has the company, but allegedly he could be, invested in trying to make people allergic to meat. So the reaction is delayed, so people don't, connect it at first. Doctors miss it, or they misdiagnose it. And then, of course, people deal with it for years. So these ticks are not rare anymore. They're expanding, as we're showing. And so, yeah, there's a possibility because of his connection with paying them that, let's look into that. Oxitec, and then we'll just type Lone Star Research and see if they're doing any Lone Star tick research at Oxitec. Look at this. So quick to try to be like, no connection between Gates-funded modified ticks. There's no connection between Gates-funded modified ticks. They're literally saying, oh, man. Well, let's see what they have to say. They say it's impossible in here that it could be connected to Oxitec. In 2021, here, let's get here. Okay. God, okay, let me just look up Oxitec because they're, PolitiFact. We get a fact, right? Oh, these companies here. So Oxitec said its modified ticks have not been introduced in the wild yet, but that doesn't answer whether or not they've been. We just want to know if they've been working on Lone Star ticks. I don't want to hear some bullshit about they haven't been let out yet. I really don't care about, well, they factually have not been let out yet. Well, fuck yourself. I want to know if you've been working on this or not, because is it a fact that it has been growing? Is it a fact that you've been modifying ticks with it? Okay. I don't really care if you tell me it hasn't gotten out yet. Okay. So they gave money to Oxitec. That's a fact. Oxitec used the first grant to conduct research in May for a solution of the invasive Asian blue tick so far. Let's see if, let's see here. It's what is alpha-gal? What about modified ticks? All right, well, I'll look that up some other time. But yeah, man, this guy's got some involvement with, obviously, tick modification. So I really don't want to hear whatever bullshit they want to tell us. All right, so this guy here has got a good solution for if you have Lone Star ticks in your yard. Let's check this out. I highly recommend you invest in what this guy's talking about. I mean, I even want to get a couple of these.
So in case you missed it, documents were recently released that showed that the CIA had developed Lyme disease as a bioweapon and put it into ticks, and then magically it just got out, and fucking that's where all the Americans got Lyme disease from. Well, now they have also bioengineered some other fucking tick-borne shit, alpha fucking whatever, but the lone...
Dude, this guy's playing music. I can't even let it play. Bastard. Okay, well, he's got something called guinea hens, okay? I'll go ahead and play it. But these guinea hens, he's literally playing a guitar riff from a song in the background. It makes it impossible to play it without getting copywritten. That sucks. Okay, so there's a guinea hen. These things will, what he's trying to explain is that these things will go around your yard and in rows, dude, they will scour the whole yard and eat every bug, every tick. They will get rid of all of them. And he's saying he's never had a tick in his yard. So, these are good investments. If you got some land, get a guinea hen. They're great to eat. They're kind of like pheasants, allegedly. They're all like kind of dark meat. It's more of a like almost like a better, kind of like a better chicken from what I've read. So guinea hen, it might be your answer for ticks if you've got some land and you can grab those. So, all right. A couple more things about the ticks as far as just some video evidence of just the massive amount of animals that have been getting found with these ticks just in a crazy level. So we're going to kind of scroll through here because I do have them in kind of a random order. Just bear with me here a little bit. It's not going to be like a long time or anything, but I want to make sure to get through all of them. Okay, so I think we're at the bottom. Okay, so one other thing. A rare cockroach species linked to an Israeli company, by the way. It's always an Israeli company that's producing cockroach milk. So it's a milk-like substance that scientists say is 3 times more nutritious than cow's milk. So, hey, they got an answer for you. If you get alpha-gal syndrome and you can't drink milk, just go get yourself some of this cockroach milk-like substance, and it'll be great. I mean, dude, they've really got us fucked up, dude, don't they? They got the game fucked up. Insane, dude. Man. Crazy. What's up, guys? I'm just checking out the chat, saying what's up to everybody. Welcome in, everybody. We got a lot more to go over. I'm just kind of brushing on the ticks, and we're getting to the hantavirus, but these two things seem to be going hand in hand as far as the oddities we're finding. Okay, so a box of ticks dropped on a farm. Videos are going viral. It is interesting that the mainstream media is drawing attention to it, yet calling it a hoax. It does make one WAF-linked biochemist, Matthew Lang, that we showed earlier, openly discussing genetically engineering to make people allergic to meat or not want meat look a little bit more suspicious, of course. So here we go. Let me skip past this and this. So in the UK, in New Zealand, rather, people are being told to burn their healthy bees. So they have healthy, strong bees. Now look at how healthy these bees are. There's no disease, and we're being told to kill them.
Actually, I think he just wants the bees strike balls to himself. They have no disease. Look at them. Look at how strongly healthy these bees are. No disease, nothing. These are perfectly strong hives. Last week, my staff told me to actually start bringing boxes here. So I got told to bring boxes here. And I got an email from Marco Gonzalez to burn the beehives because they were abandoned. I can tell you right now, look at here. Look here, brand new treatment, perfect, healthy treatment. If you're a beekeeper, you'll know that is a perfectly healthy treatment. And this has been recently worked. Well, I mean recently, I mean weeks ago. Even an AP2 officer actually told me, actually, this site is a perfectly healthy site and it's great, ready for split. We've been told to burn a perfectly healthy.
Crazy. What the fuck? But they did just make like new, what is it, like new artificial bees that they just made. You know, they just made these new artificial bees. Artificial bees. What was it? I don't know what you would call them, like AI bees or some shit. Like AI, let's just say AI. Autonomous flying microbots, little bees. Oh, these are the ones from like China ones. But yeah, what are robot bees? Researchers and engineers from around the world have been experimenting with ways robots can do the work of real bees. Their creations come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Some fly around the propellers, and some have liquid, ionic, gel-coated horse hair bristles to collect and transfer pollen. So these people are really crazy. Do you remember that Black Mirror episode? Black Mirror with the bees. Hold on, what was it? It was bees were used to assassinate people. Remember that? God, dude. I mean, this is really turning into Black Mirror. I mean, it really is. Black Mirror is hated in the nation. And the bees that hunted, the bees in question are these autonomous drone insects, miniature solar-powered drones designed to replace the honeybee population. So they use these to literally kill people. Now, there was facial recognition that they would use, which, by the way, if you don't think they'll use that, you're out of your mind. There was an assassination plot that was done and carried out in the movie. There's military-level encryption that they were able to do, and 3D printed hives that they made, which is probably very similar to what they'll do for us. So, man, these people are psychos. So, just as all this is going on, Robert Malone post about this declassified document linked U.S. bioweapons program to the Lyme disease outbreak. And this was in March 4th, 2026. They always seem to come out with another thing as they expose one thing. Does that make sense? So here's Lyme disease. It's proven that we made it in a lab. And as that's happening, we have the rise in alpha-gal. The same thing with like the hantavirus. Fauci's supposed to be, his literal, what would you call it? His timeline for being able to be charged for perjury is going to run out in a week. And then that week we have hantavirus. I mean, you can't make this shit up. So crazy. So here, let's look at some of these videos. We're finding deer as well.
And I saw this little guy. I don't know if he's alive or he's got ticks all over his head and eyes. I mean, look at that. On his ears. Oh my gosh.
Crazy. I mean, yeah, dude, there's ticks all over this thing. Here, let me go ahead and find, there's a lot more of those where that came from. Let me skip past that. So we also have this. It's another deer. Look at these. Now, something interesting also is that, they say that the ticks that were like, obviously those ticks that try to mess with the deer and everything else, like they could be releasing those so we can't even eat the damn things just because they're all dying in droves, It's crazy. Let me see here. Okay, I think that's most of it. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, to go along with some of this lab-grown meat rhetoric that we're going with, this woman had steaks, and one of them looks like it's literally not even meat. It seems like it's grown in a lab. And by the way, lab-grown meat is made out of cancer cells. So we don't need that.
I'm here to have proof of what I am currently experiencing with this steak. I've never had this happen with this brand, but now I'm like grossed out and wondering if I should return all of this. Went to Kroger, got some Simple Truth organic grass-fed tenderloin. I got 3 tenderloins and then a couple top sirloins. These ones, like these two and the...
I just have to say, she's wearing a Yellow Jackets shirt. I'm sure it's like not a big deal. It's probably like her local team, but Yellow Jackets is a show about people being cannibals, right? Like these people get stuck, this soccer team, they get stuck in Canada in the woodlands or something from an airplane crash and they end up eating each other, a bunch of them. There's a lot of cannibal aspects to it. And the Wendigo, right? The demon that kind of comes and messes with your mind when you eat people is a big theme in that show. And then, of course, we're talking about fake meat here, and I just think that's weird, right? So just pointing that out. All right, so let's look at this. This guy here also is talking about ticks. In America, Australia.
Even in Africa, there's reports of just mooses dying with thousands of ticks on them, snakes with ticks on them. People are picking up blades of grass and finding thousands of ticks on this blade of grass. And Babylon are going to try and make a vaccine because with the ticks, you can get Lyme disease. Now, what happened in the film Leave the World Behind? Lyme disease. The little boy got bit by a tick, and his teeth come out. The system, the cabal, tell you what they're going to do.
Yeah, Leave the World Behind just came out with a new movie, Leave the World Behind 2. And yeah, it was literally, dude, this kid gets like Lyme disease or something, or gets some tick-borne illness and some crazy shit happens. So again, when we're talking about a global pandemic that causes some crazy shit, it seems like there's a lot of themes going on with that. And that's kind of what this show is today.
I have to rate them. They are bold with it. I'm a Buddhist. Let me explain to you what karmic retribution means. If I give you a glass of water and I don't tell you that there's cyanide in it and you drink it, I've just murdered you. But if I give you a glass of water and I tell you there's cyanide in it and you drink it, you committed suicide. And it's what the system is doing to us right now. They're telling us we're about...
Dude, that's the stuff I try to explain on here all the time. Yeah, man. So, yep, there we are. So that is kind of what's going on with that. I think I had some more with the ticks. Farmers notice spike in ticks while Lyme disease vaccine is entering market. Look at that. We got ourselves another vaccine to sell. So this is the snake that guy was talking about. Ticks all over it.
Seen on any animal ever.
That is insane. And look at the size of them. They're enormous. Huge ticks on this girl. But we just got this python out of the Everglades, and she was sitting on a clutch of eggs. We got them too, and you can see she popped this egg right away. You can see the embryo in there is starting to look like a snake. It's got scales developed, so these weren't too far off from hatching. So we got her out just in the nick of time.
Snakeaholic, shout out. Man, crazy. Look at these. Look at all those. That's not natural, guys. This isn't a natural amount of ticks. This is not a normal amount.
Ever seen?
And for those listening, it's really worth it checking out the video. I mean, a lot of this is audio, so it's all good, but my God, some of this is worth seeing just to see how insane this is. So, all right, I think that's most of the tick stuff. I think we're going to go ahead and move on. We got so much hantavirus stuff to get into here. Lab-grown chicken coming into restaurants, of course, to go along with this alpha-gal situation. Right? So, and let me just make sure I didn't miss anything too important with the tick situation. More videos, of course. Oh, I guess we should show the boxes. Here's the farmer showing the box. Come on, bitch. Doesn't want to do it. Okay. Here we go.
Well, I'm out here mushroom hunting, and I found, there it is right there, the tick box. I'm not going to touch it because there's ticks all over that thing. I know there is. Look at them crawling out of it. Millions of them. You can see the ticks.
Somebody commented that ticks don't move like that. Those are ants. I don't think they're right about that. I'm pretty sure the same guy posted this. So, and I mean, come on, what are the odds that both of these are happening at the same time? So, yeah. So that's for the most part. I think we're gonna. Yeah, that's for the most part it with the ticks. And then, of course, we have one more thing, maybe with Bill Gates, just to really show what we're saying here. This guy, he's just great.
People are like, wow, this is a bit scary. It's completely new territory.
I mean, will we still need humans?
Not for most things. We'll decide. I mean, people are like, wow, this is.
What was he about to say there? We'll decide? We'll decide. Doesn't he just love that he gets to say that? We'll decide. We'll decide who's really, needed in this world. Literally, he said, people going to be used. We'll decide if we need you. What a sick bastard. Honestly, what a sick bastard. So that's just a crazy sick man. All right, cool. So I'm sure you guys maybe seen this. We were just on Ben End of the World News yesterday. And of course, we had the Simpsons episode that came out years ago talking about the hantavirus and predicted it, right? You also have the X-Files talking about it, which I think is important. We'll bring that one up in a minute. Oh, I got a Spanish one. Why do I have a Spanish one? Anyway, yeah, it was Corona. What was the ship called? Corona Cruise. And then, which is funny because that's a play on words, obviously, with coronavirus. So let's get started on the hantavirus section of this segment.
Pour notre intérêt collectif. Dès lundi.
So this is Emmanuel Macron speaking French about closing schools due to the spread of the hantavirus. So we've already got a little bit of weirdness going on. We've also got this man who speaks about
and any vacuum, any space which is not covered actually gives advantage to the virus. And the best immunity we have is solidarity. So because of the event that's happening now, and both Argentina and the US are affected, I think they will reconsider their decisions because they can see how important universal.
He's just talking about, again, joining the WHO. And, you know, it's funny because this cruise ship left from Argentina. Okay? Now let's talk about this cruise ship with the hantavirus. So the Honduras cruise ship departed from Ushuaia, Argentina. It's a Dutch-flagged expedition cruise ship. It set sail from Ushuaia, a southern port city in Argentina. It left on April 1st, 2026, embarking on a polar expedition that included Antarctica, South Georgia, Helena, and Ascension Island. So anyway, now Argentina just opened a biolab, okay? I don't know where the vials went missing from. We're going to find that out in a minute. Yeah, here we go. So Argentina inaugurated the first biosafety level 4 laboratory in Latin America. This is October 2nd, 2025, so very recently. Argentina biolab vials stolen. I believe that was in the same biolab. Let's find out here. Hantavirus bombshell is 2 vials of deadly rat virus vanished from an Australian lab. Australian lab, not Argentinian, in 2021. So there's 300 vials went missing. 2 of them had the hantavirus, weaponized hantavirus. So that's something right there, isn't it? And we've been hearing about biolabs lately, haven't we? You know, with the situation that, you know, in Las Vegas. So it seems like this is something that keeps coming up. All right. So, and you know, they've got an mRNA vaccine that they've been developing. And this, I'm sure you guys have seen, one of the 1,200 side effects for the COVID vaccine on page 33, no less, is the hantavirus, a pulmonary disease that's caused from the COVID vaccine. I'll show you that in a minute. Pfizer didn't say hantavirus is side effect of its COVID-19 vaccine. I'll show you guys on the actual thing itself. Isn't that funny? They like to play that game. Anyway, Moderna jumps on word it is working on a hantavirus vaccine. Hantavirus stirs vaccine skeptics. Let's see here. Here we go. Moderna has been collaborating on a mRNA vaccine since 2024. They partnered with Korea University's Vaccine Innovation Center. mRNA-based hantavirus vaccine under the company's mRNA Access Program. I'm curious, is there hantavirus in Vietnam? Is this one of the countries that were named? I'm curious here. Vietnam has not recorded any hantavirus, but authorities warn of potential risk from rodents and advise preventative cares. They confirm no human cases, despite recent international outbreaks on a Dutch flagship. The cruise cluster involved hantavirus, including confirmed suspects, but no Vietnamese nationals. Okay. I was curious. Of course not. Okay, so Moderna supplied corresponding mRNA materials and preclinical candidates. So they've been working on a mRNA virus, vaccine rather, for hantavirus. Okay, so that's awesome, isn't it? Now let's see if we can find the X-Files. And we'll start off with that, or kind of, because I think that's interesting when it comes to this hantavirus situation. Oh, fuck. God damn it. All right, well, I'm going to have to look up. Okay, let's see. Man, these UFO documents, huh? They may have something to do with this hantavirus situation, especially once you watch this episode here. Then I think you'll kind of agree with me here a little bit. Let's check this out. If you haven't seen it already, this is very interesting. If you've seen it already, it's worth seeing again. It gets into a lot of things going on today, oddly.
I was right about Dallas, wasn't I?
How are you right?
Are you familiar with the hantavirus, Agent Mulder?
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the hantavirus. Are you familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? FEMA allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency.
Now, that stuff we've talked about on this show a lot. I mean, yeah, absolutely. National emergency or National Security Administration, the NSA, the national security executive orders and all those different things we have from Nixon, Reagan, Clinton, and all these people, they have set us up for a continuity of government situation where if they declare a national emergency, they can pretty much do whatever they want and they can take over. FEMA camps is where that concept comes from. But the foundation of them being able to do that comes from the paperwork from the national security directives.
Think about that. What is an agency with such broad sweeping power doing managing a small viral outbreak in suburban Texas?
You're saying it wasn't such a small outbreak?
No. I'm saying it wasn't the hantavirus.
Well, what was it?
Now, this is where it turns into something else, but this is where people connect. It's an episode where they're talking about the hantavirus, but then he says it wasn't the hantavirus, it was something else. And it turns into an alien colonization episode, right? With the UFO disclosure happening yesterday.
What was it? When we were young men in the military, your father and I were recruited for a project. They told us it was biological warfare, a virus.
What killed those men?
What killed them, I won't even write about. We have no context for what killed those men, or any appreciation of the scale at which it'll be unleashed in the future.
A plague?
Plague to end all plagues, Agent Mulder. A silent weapon for a quiet war.
A silent weapon for a quiet war. He is literally, I don't know, I know a lot of podcasters are showing this and a lot of people are showing this, but do they understand the implications behind a quiet weapon for silent wars or silent war? Guys, who had the series called Silent Weapons? Come on, I did. And it's all about MK Ultra. And I know what he's saying here.
The systematic release of an indiscriminate organism for which the men who will bring it on still have no cure. They've been working on this for 50 years. While the rest of the world have been fighting gooks and commies, these men have been secretly negotiating a planned Armageddon.
Negotiating with whom?
Planned Armageddon.
I think you know.
Planned Armageddon. You hear that? They've been negotiating a planned Armageddon. Silent weapons of quiet war. Obviously, he's talking about mind wars. He's talking about these things, genetic, obviously, gene hackman, hacking the genes, right? Genetic engineering. These are what he's talking about here. So very, very interesting, dude. Very interesting. Operation Warp Speed 2.0 is coming, definitely, with this Plandemic 2.0. Shout out, everybody. Oh, we got a super chat up here. Let's go. Hey, Henrietta Lax, connect to the lab grown meat. Look up Henrietta Lax, connect to the lab grown meat. Right on, Morpheus. I will. Thank you, brother. Check that out. Henrietta. Hold on, let me read that again. How do you spell that? Henrietta Lax. Okay. Let's check that out. And then we'll get back into the Hanta. 1 second here. What do you think about that episode, dude? I mean, he's talking about a lot of things there. Manufacturing Armageddon, silent weapons for quiet wars, biological weapons, negotiating with aliens. I mean, there's a lot being said in that one little clip there that I think goes over a lot of people, a lot of people's heads as they watch that. Even the people that are sitting here breaking it down, I think missed the context there of what he's actually trying to say. So that's crazy. Very interesting. We've covered silent weapons, quiet wars. We know what the fuck's going on. Lab grown meat. Let's see here if there's anything connected. Is this it? Henrietta's green light lab grown meat, FDA approved. Lab grown meat isn't made of cancerous cells. Oh, is this what kind of connects to the whole cancer cell deal? Immortalizing cells for human consumption. Well, guys, oh my God, guys, hold on a second. Hold on a second, dude. That's exactly what I was kind of saying for a second there. If it's true that this lab-grown meat is being made out of cells from biological organisms, like possibly cancer cells from people or something, then her wearing the Yellow Jackets hoodie is on par. What do you guys, did anybody say anything about the Yellow Jackets hoodie? What do you guys think about that, dude? Do you think that there's something to that with the whole cannibal? She's literally talking about lab grown meat and her issues with meat. And then you've got that. Insane, dude. Yes, I've been looking into this. Who's behind the Oceanside expeditions? 25% stake held by Bolster Investment Partners. Exactly. They have a holdings in the Inflow Plaza, which is a meteorological company for weather. Yes, you're exactly right. I've been looking at that. You know, I've been trying to find connections with that Dutch family and the mRNA vaccine. I thought I saw something about that because they are working on mRNA vaccines in Dutchland. And there's a man with the last name, what is it, Van Jessen or whatever, that owns the cruise ship. There's a man with the same last name. I'll give you, it's kind of a common last name in Dutchland, but there's a man with the same last name working on mRNA. So I think that's very weird. What do we got here? Look up the info about her cancer cells that never die. Right on, brother. I will pull that up. Yeah, well, that's what this is. Immortalizing cells for human consumption. The need to reproduce immortal food-relevant cell lines is one of the most pressing challenges of cellular agriculture. That's exactly what this is talking about, brother. Holy shit, dude. I don't think they outwardly say cancer cells here. They might at some point. Let me look it up. In rare events, most often in cancer cells, they'll spontaneously immortalize. So it's good to use cancer cells, obviously, because they naturally do what they want out of these cells, which is immortalize themselves. So these cells can be isolated. Tissues must be sampled by biopsy, then dissociated with the cell type. So these people are isolating cancer cells so they could use them for meat. One example of spontaneously immortalized cell lines in cultured meat is the chicken fibroblast line used by the company Future Meat. The Future Meat cell line was created by culturing fibroblast isolated from chick embryo and then isolating, concentrating, and expanding the foci more rapidly, growing cells until there was a culture of uniform morphology. Wow, man, these people are insane, dude. This is just crazy. So cancer can be induced by radiation or chemical dude, they're literally proving right here, guys. Radiation causes cancer. But if I go look up cell phone radiation cause cancer, it'll say no. Oh, it's a different radiation. No, it's not. It's not. It's the same radiation, different levels, and it still eventually could affect you in the same way. Eventually. Yeah, there's really nothing here, obviously, that says it right away. But either way, yeah, wow. So they're immortalizing cancer cells. And so that woman that had the Yellow Jackets hoodie, that's literally all about cannibalism, I think she knew what she was doing there when she did that. I think she knows what she's doing. I think that woman very much knew. And I don't think I think she's dog whistling to people that understand like us. Okay, so this is kind of off topic, but I got a kick out of this, and I want to show it to you before anybody else does, because we talk about this stuff all the time, and I just think this was so fucking funny. Let me make sure I'm sharing with you guys. Yeah, we're good. All right, check this out. Tucker Carlson on Theo Von.
Like, isn't Palantir? They're going to do our data now, aren't they? Aren't they going to? I don't know. Oversee us?
I don't know. I see a lot of people referring to that, but I'm just going to have to plead ignorance on this.
And this is
He's got to plead ignorance. His best buddy, J.D. Vance, best buddies with Peter Thiel. They both funded Massey. There's a billionaire who funded them, who also is funding. Oh my God, who is he? What is he funding? I got it in my notes right here, because it's insane. It's insane. Here, let me find it here. Hold on. Jeff Yass, funding Massey. Peter Thiel. He funds also the University of Austin, which is the place that Palantir, Peter Thiel created. It's a university that they created where they, take their acolytes and they, create them into little tech lords. So they've got their own little ecosystem they've created, and he's going to act like he's not a part of it, is my point.
Allegedly, but there's articles that allege that that they have weapons attached to drones and that they're able to figure that out. Palantir Technologies holds multiple major contracts with the U.S. government, particularly with the Department of Defense, highlighted by a recent U.S. Army enterprise agreement valued up to $10 billion over 10 years. Let me see. consolidating 75 prior contracts into one for software and data services to boost military readiness.
Now, just keep it. That looks like it's from Wikipedia, which is obviously controlled by CIA.
This is Perplexity, right?
The CIA agent would know. I'm just kidding. The son of a CIA agent would know if this was CIA or not, pushing propaganda. Very funny because he just got owned by fucking Theo. He's like, no, actually, bro, this is Perplexity.
Right here.
What's that?
Perplexity is a company that advertises with us. It's an AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. Very funny, guys. I just thought that was so interesting, dude. He's like, this is a CIA website that you're getting this information on. Just trying to discredit what Theo's saying, but in reality, he just looked like an asshole. And that was awesome. I've never seen Tucker fumble so hard before. Okay, sorry. That was a little segue off of what we're talking about here. But we did mention Tucker earlier, so I thought that'd be good to bring that up here. So the hantavirus can't really transmit from person to person. But the Andes virus, which is a strain of the hantavirus, in rare cases can spread between people. And I think that there's a possibility there's been gain-of-function research done with the Andes virus. Just saying. We could look it up, but more than likely we're not going to get an answer. Being that it's in mainstream news now, I doubt that we're going to get an answer for this. Research Andes. Let's try Andes virus. Let's see here. Gain of function research involves, okay. However, it also carries biosafety risks, okay. Andes virus. What are they? If Andes virus were to be studied under gain of function protocols, it would be done in high containment labs. Oh my God, dude. You see how they're like, listen, nothing could possibly happen like COVID again. Natural red algae protein slashes hantavirus viral load 99.9%. Red algae protein. Okay. Trump administration cut funding to study hantavirus. This was a day ago. And so people are trying to say that this cutting of the study of hantavirus is why we're now having an outbreak, which is very possible, I think. He stopped the study of diseases. Hold on a second. Wow, they were studying the hantavirus. Okay, here we go. The Centers for Research in Emerging Infectious Diseases were designed to study viruses that could jump from animals to people, including hantavirus. In 2025, the National Institute of Health said the work wouldn't continue because of the gain of function situation. I guarantee this has something to do with that. So the project was designed to better understand how hantavirus passes from rodents to human. It was being conducted through the West African Center for Emerging Infectious Diseases. 10 centers. Okay. All right. So we found out that there was a group in Argentina that wanted to do similar kinds of things. Look at that, Argentina. And of course, we had Argentina is where this hantavirus left from. Isn't that interesting, guys? So hold on. These people were studying in West Africa, this disease. And then they said that there's another place in Argentina, and a group in Argentina that wanted to do similar things. And the cruise ship left out of Argentina. So they have vested interest in Argentina to keep this research going, and he cut the funding. Therefore, maybe they let this out. Isn't that interesting? Good God, man. These people are sick. We don't need to look at the alien hybrid humans. My apologies. So let's look at this, though. So we got the X-Files from the future, the 1998 film. We've also got this, the key facts about hantavirus.
I want to stress that there have been no public health incidents linked to these materials. So we have no evidence so far of any event occurring as a result of the loss or the destruction of these materials. The department is taking all necessary steps to ensure that it does have the appropriate regulatory matters in place.
Have you guys noticed over here? If you look on the right, SARS-1 was in 2002. 6 years later, in 2008, you had the swine flu. 6 years later, you had the Ebola virus. 6 years later, you had COVID, SARS-2. 6 years later, is it possible in 2026 we're now facing the hantavirus? What the fuck, guys? I mean, this is actually crazy. every 6 years. 6 every 6 years. So insane. I had Jimmy Dore, mention me. I thought that was pretty funny. He actually sent me this, and he said, your odds of getting struck by lightning are 7 times greater than getting hantavirus. And I was saying, I'm aware of this, but you do know that they were doing gain of function research on this possibly. And so there's a possibility that this isn't, this is old statistics here. If you're dealing with a new strain of virus that can jump from people to people easier. So Jimmy Dore is trying to say, don't listen to them. I'm saying this could be 40 chess. If I was a super evil guy, I would put out COVID, let people be like, oh, they don't trust the system anymore. And then I would let out something real and let it kill people. So that way they would embrace a World Health Organization, tyrannical health, biometric ID system, right? And I think that's kind of the plan. So beware, guys. Like, they could actually put out something that could raise the mortality rate in a real sense, just to be like a FU to people to be like, yeah, see? And then they'll embrace the system that we've been fighting against, right? So kind of genius, if you ask me. Now, earlier they said that this was not in the list of side effects, but I'll show you right here. There's a cumulative analysis of post-authorization adverse event report, and on page 33, on the bottom right here, 33, they have hantavirus pulmonary infection right here. So, interesting. So it is in there. They also have herpes listed in there, so that's great. Hopefully nobody got the vax. You may end up with herpes or something. So, no lockdowns no matter what happens. I agree with that. No lockdowns no matter what happens. We don't need draconian measures. That's not what I'm saying, but it's possible that we need to be vigilant and not think that we know, because they could be trying to get us with that 4D chess. So Korea University Vaccine Innovations collaborates with Moderna on mRNA for hantavirus vaccine development. And then also you have in Seoul, they're talking about next generation hantavirus vaccine at risk of collapse in 2026. And so in Argentina, somewhere else that had a vested interest in the development of studying the hantavirus, you had the outbreak. So this is all kind of coming together in a weird big picture here, if you ask me. So, of course, Jimmy Dore is saying, hantavirus is teleporting. I think that there's more to this, guys. I really do. They let 40 people off the cruise ship before anybody even knew. And nobody even knew there was a virus, and 40 people got off the cruise ship. It said here, overheard behind me while watching H5N1 workshop today, if you want to make a pandemic, make a hantavirus human transmissible. You see? So this is stuff that they've talked about. So this is the vial labs in Australia I mentioned earlier. 2 of those were the hantavirus that was stolen out of there. We'll move on past that. Breaking news, they're testing another lockdown on rodent virus. Let's check out what they're saying here on CNN.
They ask, it's said that it can take 8 weeks to become symptomatic. The passengers shouldn't be allowed into the public until they're completely cleared. What is that a fair way to look at this? I mean, how long do you think people should be quarantined who are either on that ship or in contact with someone who was there?
Whoa, see that? In contact with someone who was there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big challenge with this virus, the long incubation period. And now we have people scattered really around the globe that are being properly tracked, isolated.
Perfect setup right there. Oh, but they're being properly tracked. Yeah, but there's 40 people that got off the ship without being checked.
Quarantined and get it under control. But what they did was they quarantined and isolated people for 40 days because of the long incubation period. So unfortunately, this is a key factor in us trying to figure out how do we keep people safe? How do we prevent further spread? I mean, we're all.
So yeah, I mean, 33 years ago, I think was the last hantavirus outbreak from what I've seen. So 33 everywhere, right? Now, just to kind of go with my point here, I think that, I'm one of those people that I'm very skeptical, okay? So if everybody's telling you not to trust things, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, maybe I will trust things. Or if everybody's telling you not to trust things, I kind of won't. And all these people I feel like might be giving, there's a possibility that they're giving false confidence. I'm not saying for sure.
Of any dangerous disease ever again.
when this new zombie apocalypse disease comes out, I hope to God it's another psyop. Because if it isn't, I am fucked, bruv. When they come along and say, there's a new...
He's saying exactly what I'm saying, but in reverse. I'm saying yes, and it's probably not going to be a psyop because of what you're saying, dude.
New disease, it kills you. I'm going to be the first guy saying, no, you didn't get me on COVID. You're not going to get me on round 2. I'm not ruining my street cred now. Give me the disease. Don't give a shit out on the streets. Bitches and shit. I'll be the first doc.
God, this dude's annoying. That's all I can take. But you guys get the gist. You get the gist. You're a fucking male feminist right there. Whoa, we're gonna skip on past this, but I will save this and talk about this later. Yeah, you know, we will talk about this later. Okay. So they removed people from the hantavirus ship. They're saying that they're just now doing it. They've been doing it. 3 U.S. states are under monitoring for potential hantavirus exposures. 4 days left for the DOJ to indict Fauci for what he lied to the Congress about regarding the gain-of-function research in Wuhan. And, of course, right now, we have this to distract people. And, yeah, just to remind people, you know, Gene Hackman, hacking of man, the genes, man's genes being hacked. Mark Zuckerberg, yeah, we'll skip past this. MSNBC like, hantavirus strain 33% mortality rate, kills 33 people and hospitalizes another 33 at approximately 12:33. Freemasons leaving the latest psyop. I love it, dude. That's exactly what we see all the time, dude. I mean, come on, man. That's so perfect. I should make that like my photo, man. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm going to save that, dude. That's great. Okay, so here we go. The same woman here, okay? The same woman pushing this bullshit. I went from flu-like symptoms that were going away to being under life support. So this is that woman who was talking about quarantining already. You know, she's now pushing a little bit more propaganda on how terrible this is, some fear-mongering, so they can gather a little bit of, you know, fear.
So, look, the whole world now is watching this story. And our next guest nearly died from hantavirus. She said if she had just waited 1 hour longer before going to the ER, she wouldn't be here today talking to us. It started as flu-like symptoms. It turned critical. And within hours, Kristen Musson was placed on life support, eventually placed in a medically induced coma for 4 days and spent even longer in the ICU. And Kristen Musson is out front now. And Kristen, I am grateful to your time and so grateful to hear that story, to look at you now. What a horrific ordeal. I mean, can we just talk about what happened here? When you first got sick, you were a new mom, you were healthy, you had a 5-month little baby girl. What happened and when did you realize something was horribly wrong?
Well, you know,
We're not going to sit through 5 minutes of that, but we get it. You know, they're going to go through a bunch of fear-mongering stories. And, of course, to go along with that, we have Bill Gates saying that the next pandemic will be far more severe than COVID. Of course.
Pandemic. The next one could be far more severe. I mean, this one, it killed millions. It was awful. We got the vaccine. You know, actually, President Trump's leadership was a factor in getting that out quickly. And so when I spoke.
Oops. But yeah, we get the gist there too. All right, I want to get to the current situation with this hantavirus. So let me make sure I get through all these tabs I saved. CDC has activated its emergency operation centers and has classified the hantavirus as outbreak as level 3. Level 3 is the lowest activation used for route monitoring, just so you know. So we will see how that develops in the future here. The hantavirus has a spike protein and is an mRNA virus. So it's a respiratory virus, allegedly. That's said by the constitutionalist here. Let's see here. Now, again, with the whole human hunting thing, I got to bring that up later. Kathy O'Brien's book. And then, of course, you had Gene Hackman, who his wife died from hantavirus, and he was in a movie about human hunting. So who knows if that's connected here. But there's so much going on with that. Possible bodies at Zora Ranch from the human hunting. You know, obviously he was involved with a lot of engineering of genetics, etc., with people, possibly cloning, who knows. And we know that he talked to Bill Gates about pandemics and trying to make a pandemic, right? So this was in you know, some corroboration with those two. So the U.S. already ran a clinical trial with the Andes strain hantavirus DNA gene therapy injection. 98% of the participants suffered adverse events. The DNA plasmid was created at the Fort Detrick BSL-4 Army lab. Oh, wow. The same place I believe that was involved with anthrax as well. They do a lot of stuff. Safety and immunogenicity for the Andes virus DNA vaccine by a needle-free injection, a randomized control phase study, won, and it did not go well. So this vaccine cartel and U.S. Army are developing 13 hantavirus vaccine and gene therapies. So we're definitely something to watch for, man. I mean, this all just comes down to mRNA gene therapies. So now that we kind of have all the context here for all that, let's go ahead and get through kind of the current situation here today. Okay. So here's where we are. New Jersey is the 6th state in the United States that is monitoring residents for potential hantavirus exposure linked to the MV Hondius cruise ship outbreak. So this happened between 2 New Jersey residents. They were exposed to a confirmed hantavirus patient during a flight. They did not get on the ship, so they already are being like kind of quarantining people around people. They sat near someone who was on the ship, and they never boarded the ship themselves. So New Jersey Department of Health said that they have not found any cases of hantavirus thus far, but they said that there have been no confirmed cases either in the state before, and the 2 residents who were exposed are not showing symptoms. There are 9 Americans being monitored for hantavirus across 6 states. You have New Jersey, Georgia, California, Texas, Virginia, and Arizona. The State Department is arranging flights to bring back the U.S. citizens who are still on the ship, and they will be taken to the National Quarantine Unit in Nebraska. The CDC will meet the ship when it arrives in the Canary Islands. The ship is not docked yet, and Dr. Zaid Fadal, a physician and CEO of Bespoke Concierge MD, he told the Daily Mail that one type of hantavirus, the Andes virus, can spread person to person, and that all the other types stay in rodents. So the Andes virus is the exception. It can take up to 42 days. 42 days, guys, 42. For symptoms to appear. That means that passengers who got off the ship weeks ago may still be able to get sick. So 3 people have died from the hantavirus. There are 5 confirmed cases and 3 suspected cases. 9 Americans are being monitored across 6 states. Argentina is sending test kits to 5 countries. So Argentina, the place where the cruise ship left, the place that has been studying hantavirus, the place that got defunded, is also the guy saving the day. We're out here saving the day, guys. Don't worry. We got all the things you need. We got test kits. We got everything we need. We need to make money because you guys defunded us. We need to show you that we're worth funding again. Crazy. So I think that there's definitely something weird going on with this whole situation. I think that we're definitely looking at some weird shit, guys. Let me go ahead and check this out as well. I think I got a few emails I sent myself here regarding this hantavirus. Man, there's just so much stuff. This is a deep dive this episode. I hope you guys are enjoying. We've been getting after it. So that's what we do here at 6G Agenda, baby. Weekend Warriors, getting after it. Let me go ahead and pull this email up. I got a few of them I sent myself. See if I'm missing anything good. So while all this is going on, see, this is why you got to check. You don't want to miss anything good. While all this is going on, did you guys hear about the Disney cruise ship? You hear about this? Did you guys hear about this? May 6th, this was published. Disney cruise ship staffers among 28 arrested in massive child porn operation. So there's 2 cruise ship stories, then one of them's getting covered by the other. Take one cruise ship story and cover the other one with it. Families hoping to make memories on a cruise were unknowingly surrounded by alleged child predators working aboard the ships. U.S. Customs and Border Protection boarded 5 cruise ships, including a Disney cruise docked in San Diego on April 23rd and 25th as part of ongoing child sex exploitation material enforcement operations. So they arrested 28 people on 5 different cruise ships. 26 suspected crews, members from the Philippines, one suspected crew from Portugal, Indonesia, all over the world. So this is a child sex trafficking operation through Disney that operates all over the world. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell worked for Disney. Here we go. She worked for the Disney cruise, I believe the recruiting program or something for Disney or some weird shit. We'll pull that up. As a talent scout are false, stemming from misinterpretations of the 1985 charity event. Okay, maybe. 2026 show that Maxwell, in 2026, there is a photo from a 1985 event circulating that show Maxwell the Disney Day charity event. So the misinformation is that she worked for Disney or did work with the talent program recruiting for Disney. Apparently that's not true, but take that with how you will. I don't think that it's a lie. I think it is true, but what do I know? So we've also got possible gain of function research into let's pull this up, into this hantavirus. It's from James Lee, so take it with what you will, but it's from another guy who I don't know, so maybe he's trustworthy.
Human, it needs to be through very close contact, like sexual intercourse, which is generally not required for a virus like SARS-CoV-2 or influenza.
Is that right, doctor? Because I don't think the KLM flight attendant who is now hospitalized was banging the infected passenger who later passed away. So what the hell could be going on here? Could something have changed in recent years? A mutation of sorts? Maybe even a man-made one? This is a tweet from 2012 from...
Yeah, this stuff we already went over. But yeah, I mean, it's possible, maybe. I don't know. Time will tell with that one. If it does start spreading from people to people a lot easier than we were led to believe, then that would tell you that most likely it has been used in gain of function research. But, time will tell with this. And the whole thing is, of course, possibly distraction from the oil, possibly distraction from all these other things that are going on. So, we just got to be weary because it's like, dude, there's just so many things that they're hiding from us all at once. It's kind of crazy. Let me see here. Cruise ship virus, hantavirus strain that spreads between humans found on cruise ship passengers. Oh, here we go. So that is kind of a thing that I saw as well, where it's like, well, they're already kind of saying that it passes person to person, which already says it's the Andes virus that's being passed, which is a problem. So yeah. Let's hope that they weren't doing any gain of function with the Andes virus, because that is the one that passes human to human. I'm not paying BBC. You fuck yourself. Absolutely. So time will tell, like I said. Man, shout out Alquium, man. Thank you, brother or sister. Either or. Shout out. Thank you so much. We're out here fucking getting it, man. All right, so I'm going to go to the chat for a minute and, say hi to you guys. And yeah, I think we kind of covered most of what's going on. Possible Plandemic 2.0, possible fear-mongering. No, possible Plandemic 2.0, definite fear-mongering. Probable draconian measures, right? So, there would be something that comes out of this, some kind of control aspect, whatever it is, as always, right? So that's kind of how it goes. Now, I want to shout out Nefhunter. Nefhunter is our new moderator, as you guys can tell. He's the man, dude, friend of the show. If you guys want to join this community that we call 6G Agenda, all you got to do is go ahead and email 6gagendapod@gmail.com, or you can hit up our boy Nefhunter as well. And, we'll coordinate and we'll figure out, if you do research, if you, can network, if you do graphic designing, I'd like to get away from AI for my thumbnails. Kaji was a thing. It was a citizens joint intelligence community that Bill Cooper created. And I would love to create a joint intelligence community for 6G Agenda, because I believe that this is a community situation and we pool our resources and we get the most out of it that way. I rely on a lot of you guys for some information, as you do with me. And obviously I rely on you for your listenership to make it worth it. And as it keeps growing, it'll be more worth it. Maybe one day I could do this full time and I can actually figure out some kind of real program with everybody. And that's the goal one day. So you guys are great. Hopefully it gets to that point one day and we can make that happen. So If you love the show, go donate. We got our Patreon. You can support us there. You can subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. We've also got, of course, Buy Me a Coffee, Venmo, all that stuff at 6G Agenda, at the 6G Agenda. You can find us pretty easily on all these things. Or just email me and ask me any questions on how you can support the show at 6gagendapod.com. So thank you so much. Shout out Inside Your Bones, Alquium, Birdman. What up, dude? Wash your maggot burger down with a glass of cockroach milk, dude. I mean, come on, bro. Hampton cyanide symptoms similarity. Is there? I don't know. I have to look that up sometimes. 6th of April, Artemis 2 reached the dark side of the moon. Good connection there. 666 there. Yeah. So we also got shout out Bull. Shout out Bull. We got watch the news during COVID when they start saying there's been 33 cases of this, 33 people infected with this, 33 hospitalized. I know I gotta make that like a photo or something. Do that guy just doing the thing off his wrist, I love it. Shout out Dictative. When you factor in viruses never being proven to exist, the motives behind all the research and fear-mongering becomes so obvious, doesn't it? It sure does, dude. Absolutely. 42 is a funny number they use a lot as well. Shout out Inertia. I know you've been here since the start. Shout out Inertia. What's some imbecile sending you information trying to cancel out your conclusion after much research and great understanding? Never heard of the guy trying to educate you. Insufferable. Wait, what happened? Was somebody trying to tell me about some shit? Oh, or are you talking about Jimmy Dore? Tell me if what you're talking about there. I'm curious. Yeah, we got our Patreon here. Thank you very much, Neff Hunter. Mainstream slop, all lies and misinformation. Yeah, you must be talking about Jimmy Dore. Do you want me to show you that? Because I thought that was so funny that happened. Hold on a second. Let me pull that up because I was like, Mama, I made it. I posted on X. I said, Mama, I made it because Jimmy Dore added me. I got added by Jimmy Dore. Your boy made it. He's telling me what's right and wrong about how diseases work. What am I thinking, dude? I'm an idiot. I got to listen to Jimmy Dore. He's got a bigger audience. Mommy, I made it. Let me see here. See if I can find this. Okay. I found it. All right, here we go. I'll pull this up. Be one of the last things. We'll wrap it up. So I said, because Jimmy Dore is just saying, like, you have a better chance of getting hit by lightning than getting the hantavirus. And I just said, relax, because this could be some 4D chess. They could have used COVID to give false confidence. Stay vigilant. And he added me and said, your odds of being struck by lightning are more than 7 times greater than the hantavirus in the USA. And of course, I said, of course I know this. I said, I'm already knowing this. And here's a video to back up the idea that maybe there's, by your buddy, by the way, James Lee, maybe this was gain of function that was activated as well. So all I'm saying is offering a different opinion of, let's not have too much false confidence here, thinking that we know what the plan is and we know how the elites operate. We know what they're doing before they'll even do it. We just got this. We're just such good truthers, It's like, get out of here, dude. You're giving people false hope like you always do. This goes just along with the other false hope with the MAGA shit. Yeah, check out the Discord too. Shout out Neff, man. We're getting the Discord vamped up. That's part of the Kaji situation. So you can go join the Discord. You can have in the chats. We're going to have certain chats where you can essentially curate your own timeline of information. You'll find links from different social medias that have different topics of research. And you can scroll through there to kind of get some updates on topics that we go into on the show. So we're trying to build a whole community, dude. That's how we do it. We are rats in a lab, Alcrium. Shout out Alcrium. Thank you, everybody. You guys are great. Hey, Inside Your Bones Joy Discord. Thank you. I'll get on tinfoil hat here soon, I hope. Sam said he's down to have me on there soon. If you've got any insiders on that, you let me know, dude. You get me in there quicker. Go ahead. And again, any graphic designers, anybody that wants to, be a part of this, you just let me know, dude. 6gagendapod@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much. It's been a great episode, I feel like. Jimmy Dore, yeah, what's up? Oh, yeah, you were talking about Jimmy Dore. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. He didn't, he was, the COVID thing got him, right? So he was trying to point out the whole COVID vaccine and how it wasn't good or whatever. And so that was where he got his bones as far as the alt media goes. So now that there's another thing that could be another COVID, he's all over it saying, don't listen. And I'm saying, dude, they're going to use guys like you and Andrew Tate to give people false confidence. So relax a little bit, man, because you're going to get people killed. It's possible. Not that it will happen, but it's possible. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. You know, I'm just a guy. What do I know? You know, I'm just a dude that's trying to analyze the world and figure out what's going on, make connections. You know, I'm not a god. You know, I'm not Trump. You know what I mean? Making a golden statue of myself. You know, Mr. Nebuchadnezzar much, right? And this guy, I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about? I believe this was even in the Bible that they like do this again. I know that Nebuchadnezzar does it, but I believe they even talk about it happening again in the future. And it's so funny, man. It's like, let's look at this before I go. What the fuck's wrong with him, dude? They say evangelicals erected this. Evangelicals erected this. Then why is there only rabbis standing next to him? Look at these guys. Rabbi here. Well, you can't see on the other side. There's like 3 or 4 rabbis on the left side. You know, and then you got this golden statue of Trump. One, you know, look at that. He's kind of doing the Baphomet. He's got one hand up, one hand down, 22 feet statue. Like the Kabbalah, 22. Right? What time is it here? What time is this? It is, what is that? What time is that? I don't even know what the fuck time that is. That clock's not in the right orientation for the time it is. Do you notice that? That's not how a clock reads. Anyway, very crazy, guys. Just another thing to add to the craziness in this world today. Absolutely insane. No wonder the price of gold went up so high. Yeah, dude, fucking cocksucker's taking it all. He's turning gold. I mean, dude, he's making the whole White House gold. Gold in the White House. I mean, dude, this guy's literally just embroidering everything with gold in the White House. And yeah, the price of gold is just flying because he's just like, we're going to just put it all in the White House. I mean, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Look at all that gold. It's ridiculous. It's embroidering everything with it. So he is the modern day Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold, which turns it into actually a bad thing. If you guys don't remember that story, that actually turns into a bad thing. The guy can't even eat. He ends up dying. So check out Sam and Mark and Mark Bailey. They make a compelling argument that all the virology is fraudulent. You know, I made an episode, if you haven't seen it, it's called Germ versus Terrain Theory. I really recommend you guys go check it out because we get into this exact thing, which is, you know, what's right? Is it the germ or terrain theory? And you know, it was towards the beginning of this show, but I think that I kind of laid out a good compelling argument for, you know, just what's what. So we got, here, I'll show you. Amazon Music's got my stuff apparently. Check this out. Show you this episode. You could go check this out. Episode 4, guys. Episode 4, guys. This is an audio only episode you can find on Spotify or Spreaker, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Germ versus terrain theory, auras, and breakaway civilization intro. I got into a lot of things in that episode. And then the next episode is about the breakaway civilization, underground bunkers, Catherine Austin Fitts, and the $21 trillion. So go check those out, dude. Those are old episodes I did last year, but I can't, as you can see, that's episode 4. So I came in the game swinging, guys. Like, there's so many good bangers. If you're just now finding the show, I highly recommend you get back in the archive and go check us out. You know, obviously, we were novices in the beginning at talking. I've gotten better, I feel like, over time being, you know, doing this. So, you know, bear with me. You know, I was just getting used to learning how to do this in those episodes. But the information itself is very good, and I think the information still holds true today. Go check it out. So thank you. And yeah, Dictative, I'm all over it, dog. So please go check out my stuff, and I think you'll find that this show is on it. At least we try to be. Thank you, everybody. I will be back on Monday with William Ramsey, and we will be doing another episode about Michael Aquino and the Process Church, the Zodiac Killer, Scientology, MK Ultra. We're going to be having a big conversation. So please come check that out. And otherwise, have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day. Go take care of your mama tomorrow. Peace out.